tiny diaphragm up on it. And it's kind of in the back, and it kind of makes a little tongue thing. And I could draw it out for you because I can tell my own anatomy from the inside out. So I'll draw you a picture one day about what it's supposed to look like. But my lung, the tongue of my diaphragm kind of ripples at the back, and it comes halfway up the back of my lung. So I have to do this like belly wave to get my lung to cough up, my upper lung to cough up, while my two lower lungs, if you will, function. And do I have cancer of the lung? No, and in fact, I have a great long lung capacity. I have extra vocal cords down low and up high. And if I sing like an altar boy, I can sing a bye too. I'm a castrato. But I may be pumping out sperm, and I may have gotten my girlfriends pregnant on accident by having lady sperm everywhere. Oops. Did not know that. Might have been helpful to know if I could have reproduced with a female. Right. Right, that would have been nice to know. And in tribute to who I think is my mother, because even in the war room we're discreet, Mrs. Thatcher. The reason Mrs. Thatcher supposedly died in 2013 was because somebody told her I had died. And then they tried to kill me. And they told her I had died, and so she died. But I think she died legally and not physically. Everybody turn your spell book to page 562. We're going to talk about leaders in the war room and civil liberties. Mrs. Margaret Thatcher, I know you're down there, and I know you're under there, and we're going to blow the lid off this together. And I've been in the war room trying to find you. And I found you, Saddam Hussein. I could find any weapon of mass destruction at this point. Put me in a burqa. Let me do that. Like the Dr. Seuss, they should put me in the zoo. Look at these polka dots and look what I can do. Yeah, don't put me in the zoo, please. Put me in a burqa and watch me terrorize ISIS and get those child traffickers one by one in that slightly Judith and Holofernes moment of the Bible that we love. I think it's Holofernes, but Holofernes works good for me too. Because you want to say who and I'll say me. You want to say who'll stand up for me and I'll say me. Who's Donald Trump's best friend and job coach right now? Me. I'm the helper for the disabled. I'm here to put your presidency to rights. I want to be the Prime Minister for the United States. And at the position I'm in, and the fact that my name needs to be Mary Margaret. Mary Margaret Gorbachev. Yeah, and if it's not Mary Margaret Gorbachev, it's Mary Margaret Ivanov. Sergey. Are you my daddy? Sergey Ivanov. And no, I'm sorry, but my dad is Gorbachev. There you go. You're welcome. I knew that much. I figured that much out. But my mama ain't no Queen Elizabeth's fancy pants. And as nice and dignified as she is. And she's a hawk in the war room too. But she's a good householder. And she's a good housewife of her country. And she's a great housewife. She's not no fishwife. She's a very wonderful lady. And she's still alive. But I'm going to tell you, Margaret Thatcher, because I know you're still alive, and if you're not, you're in heaven. No, you're in hell right now. You've already chosen to be in hell. You've gone into a psych ward or prison, and you're waiting out as a political prisoner in the Cold War. But we're trying not to have corruption because the Margaret Thatcher Foundation has so much declassified information. So use your Freedom of Information Act and turn to the Margaret Thatcher .org page on your internet and enjoy and have a library access indication that you didn't know you had. So all of you history buffs, you history freaks, you Nazi nerds, all of you guys who are out there looking for the final moment with the Cold War corruption mystery and deep throat. Use the deep throat, not the shallow throat on the two spirits. This is why teabagging is so uncomfortable for my partner, because he knew and he didn't say. And he came out about it last night after he had proposed and I had accepted his marriage proposal. He came out about it and I was like, I have two throats, don't I? And he says, yes, you do. And I said, and the only way I could have known that is you telling me that you found that with the end of your probe. Yes, dear, that is what is the case. Yes, all right then. I have confirmation on my biology that I could not have done on my own. So, voila. And let me tell you what. Don't even let it bother you one bit. Did you know God doesn't worry about where our proboscises grow or go? If your proboscis on your nose goes somewhere, God doesn't, like, smack you on the nose for that. Unless he does. I mean, you know, pretend you have a nice wet nose like a dog. Imagine that your sexuality is on the end of your nose. Oh, wait, you oral sex freaks. I mean, whoops. Right. So, dogs are probably wired a little bit differently. Because wired differently. Nerves, wires. Electronics comparison. Robotics, Stepford wife. What? Can you imagine what kind of loop-de-loops I'm doing over here going, holy shit. So let me tell you what, I know a lot about gender reassignment surgery, and that phase of my internship is over, and eventually I will be doing proper gender reassignment surgeries for people who are scared and want to know what it's like. And want to know what it's like to grow up from the very beginning. I can do pediatric gender reassignment surgery as if. But sometimes people go through accidents or troubles, or they come born with problems with their body parts that have to be fixed right away if we want to let them live. And so this is the dilemmas that come along with the pro-life, pro-choice argument. And since I am pro-choice and you decide you want to live, little one, you have decided that you want to live, and therefore you have chosen to be alive. Not everything, we don't leave them abandoned into the woods for the witches to come and raise as druids or priests. That's not how we do it anymore. We don't abandon them to the elements for someone to come pick up later and adopt. That's not how we do that. Except for me. I've been abandoned by the elements because my mother chose to die rather than choosing to pursue the question any further. Margaret Thatcher committed ritual suicide when she found out that somebody told her I had died. Or that Putin had his back turned to me in a store and I walked in and somebody shouted at me and so I ran away. And he didn't chase me and he didn't go looking for me. And I didn't say, Putin, I love you, the way I should. And I want to marry Vladimir Putin really, really bad because he saw it and he's elected. He's an elected official. He has millions and millions of people behind him. So whoever's in his Senate and his Congress has been a stick in the mud. But even stick in the mud Russia is now refurbishing their ideas of gays. And nobody told them to be patient. And nobody told them, wait it out. There's more that you don't know. And nobody gave them any kind of informed consent. So these mobs of people on their own independent moment have manifested and said, these laws are essential for our well-being. And as an attorney and a Juris Doctorate, I'm going to tell you, these laws, medical laws, medical law, and consumer law, marketing law, derp, blurpity blurp, bloppity too long you didn't read? Wow. How much reading do you think you have to do before you're a good legislator? You have to be 35, Ivanka. before you're supposed to take a legit presidency seat, and you're committing a crime of nepotism by sitting in my seat. But as your prime minister, who is stepping up to the plate, since you can no longer find me nor hire me, I've applied to the BOP, the VA, and the Army as a position of chaplain. I will be your prime minister and an ambassador from the U.S. to the G20 to any goddamn well please that I want. And I will talk to anybody in the UN that I goddamn well please. And we will figure this goddamn well out and stop bombing people. You stupid motherfuckers. You stupid idiots. This is stupid. And it's all stupid. And Margaret Thatcher committed ritual suicide just like my Uncle Chuck committed ritual suicide. Because you just couldn't hack it, old people. I'm going to be older than Methuselah. You think Methuselah lived 950 months? Moons? Years? Gee, how many body parts did he come with initially? Okay. Now, the geological record is real. And our interpretation of the geological record uses tools like lenses and Geiger counters and things that measure real things. Evolution is God's way of creations. God's path. Did you know God doesn't have a cookie cutter manufacturer idea of us? God is taking a path as we do as mortals. God takes his own or her. God takes theirs own. God's is a two-spirit too. That's just it. And the celestial sex. Wow. You know, and from a distance, that seems kind of bizarre. Mormons. Not really. And don't sweat it. God's rituals are God's rituals as our rituals to relate to God. And I'm here to serve whatever ritual need you have. Even atheists, I'd be happy to do a wedding ceremony in Klingon. But I'll make sure to tell the groom that you are a shame to the Empire. I'll say whatever I like during your marriage ceremony in Klingon. And if you can laugh at the jokes, you know what's going on. So, all you cosplayers and you LARPers, don't hesitate to contact Coexist Ministries, Cognitive Dissident, and the Apostate radio station to come over, share your story a la StoryCorps. We're going to have the reserves, StoryCorps reserves over here, NPR reserves over here, NPR deployment over here. Let me go in as a journalist. Let me fix it. Let me have my concealed carry as a journalist. Let me work for Interpol. Let me interpret. Let me be your wind talker. Let me interpret sign language for the UN for the deaf people on TV in American Sign Language, which is relatively the standard. Could you please? Oh, wait. I'm going to do it anyway. And y'all are going to stand down. Because my mother's Margaret Thatcher. My father's Mikhail Gorbachev. And I was a boy. And I was trafficked. And Ashton Kutcher, hi. Thank you for all your good work. Thank you for standing up for us. Ashton Kutcher, you're my man. If you ever want to be an adjunct professor with Coexist Ministries charter schools, I'd appreciate it if you would. You're on the directory as far as someone who teaches well about civil liberties and protecting the innocent. There are children's bodies being disposed of in Burma for whatever reason. They have not been dissected yet in order to understand the cause for their death. Did they all drink bleach accidentally? Was it a suicide compact? Was it ritual murder? Did they just all get into a pot of poison and the mom went, "Ah, crap"? I mean, seriously, you guys, the babies are falling down the wells, dummy. They're really not old enough to get around on their own. And if these babies are being found bodies in the river, they still have to pull them out and dissect them and see what's all going on, investigation, etc. Oh, you mean it's not just like a half-an-hour episode of Bones? That I can fast forward through the commercial and then it's over and the crime solved? No. But imagine eating that for breakfast with your Wheaties every day. Then you'll get an idea of how I learned to love science. So there. You science freaks, you anti-intellectuals. The only way to God, through God, is through intellect. And up through your head chakra. And apparently, I have an extra line of chakras from Mike, my Y chromosome half-brother. So, there you go. Two spirits want to talk to you about climbing the Jacob's ladder of the chakras. Yeah, because once you get to my pituitary, then there's Mike's root chakra. And Mike has extra penis layers on me. So I have like a super fireball of a bomb in there. Wow. No wonder you're jealous of all my pleasure. You seem to have plenty of pleasure. I don't know why my pleasure and your pleasure are different. But yeah, you know, sometimes it goes up to the high point and then it goes up to the even higher point. So I have a kind of a lightning bolt, if you will, of my two-spirit sexuality. And it's not something that I could have interpreted very well, but I've been having sex since I was 20. And I was 21. Literally, I was 21. Minus 7 months, and I was practically 21 by the time I had sex. So legally, I was 21 before I even started drinking the waters of sexuality, legally, bartenders. You know, and the thing is, we want to talk about sexuality and the intoxicating moments of sexuality, because sexuality is intoxicating and it's addictive, and if we pursue it too small, we lose sight of the bigger things. And that's how addiction works overall. For example, don't ever argue about where the hell are my cigarettes, God damn it. That's a petty issue and not important. Tobacco medicine says don't harass somebody else because you can't find your cigarettes, because you're absent-minded, because you're stressing, because of your Nick Fit. The same way diabetics should not be mad because you don't have a cookie in your pocket for them. Oh, and by the way, all you diabetics and whatnot, checking your blood sugar and shooting up your insulin at the table, that's disgusting. Keep your medical devices off of my dinner plate. Gross. How humiliating for the rest of the table. And it is not in any way attractive. It's very, it's not done. If you can't breastfeed in public, don't fucking inject your insulin in public either. Medical needs need to be taken care of in privacy and discretion. And the discretion that you apply to yourself by not lining up your medications when you go out to eat. That's a certain amount of discretion. But for me, if I take a little jar full of my vitamins and supplements and I have them out while I'm at the bar, because I went through cancer, because I'm a two-spirit, because of this, because of that, because I need chromosomes and hormones that aren't yours, you know, I may have to have a whole lot of different mysterious stuff. I love Chinese medicine. It's really, really, really effective. And the Chinese relationship, the relationship of Asia to Willow, brilliant, amazing. I love it. I've learned a lot just from shopping at the grocery store. Some of my projects included, you know, random objects of Chinese medicine from food and see what you get out of it. That's how it works. So, there you go. But as a PhD in tobacco medicine, I'm going to tell you smoking is not what you think. Cancer is not what you think. Let's see. Cancer is like loose ovum. Okay, you cancer researchers, pay attention, Adams. Because you wish you had the cure. I have the cure. Now listen, cancer is like an ovum with a herpes, meeting with a herpes, and attaching at the wrong spot in your body. Try that 3 combination, you cancer researchers, and review your information and dissect it down and see if I'm right. Prove my hypothesis for me and bring me some results that confirm it, and let me have a peer review at this point. Could we get those cancer researchers on my Facebook, Adam Adams and all that? Ooh. And to have, oh goodness. And having an extra bit of bowels wrapped around your spinal cord. Thanks, guys. You didn't do my internal reconstruction quite right. I may need a vaginal mesh or something to hold up my stuff. But yeah, when everything moves around in there, it's kind of weird and awkward. Sorry, guys. That was kind of a gas bubble. Oh, the baby's smiling. Oh, she has gas. Oh, she's laughing at her farts. Yes, because they're funny. Right. Okay, back to cancer research. Okay, you cancer researchers, try this one on for size. Try dissecting your cancer cells and see if there is a herpes virus or a papilloma virus. A papilloma virus or a herpes virus combined with reproductive tissue of any kind, ovum, testes, sperms, and then combine that with biological environmental conditions such as the wear and tear on the body when you use, when you use tobacco. And also don't forget the what happens when you conduct oral sex and you put reproductive materials, including eating on a period or eating sperm, and then you eat the sperm. Now, do you have that granulocytosis? Is that the name of it, honey? Honey, I'm losing my vocabulary here because I can't remember. What's the name? Okay, you all know this. The name of that disease where you got little pock marks and holes in your body, in your intestines, and then it gathers seeds and creates a pocket of bacteria and infection. Okay, now imagine it, and I think it's cytogranuloma, I think is what it's called, or cytogranulosis, or gastroenteritis. Seriously, you guys, you're expecting me to do a lot here. For that matter, you'll know what I'm trying to get at, and that's really the core of the matter. And I think that when you're looking in your cancer researchers all, Adam Adams specifically, and I will quote you and share the glory with you because I know what Witten and Green went through with the Elegant Universe. That is also a reading material, required reading to be in my advanced classes. And it's low on math. Don't worry. Don't have math anxiety. The end. Fuck you. So yeah. Mr. I'm from John Adams and I'm a daughter of the American Republic. Yes, you too can be a two-spirit. Just try me. But, yeah. So, yeah, all of you science nerds in my awareness who are lurking, who don't have me on your share, everybody except her. And I'd really appreciate it, my Facebook friends all. And I want to thank Vanessa Weaver for being the bold one to talk about it and to start the discussion with me and to keep it going because she's a brave soul and she's right and tight on her civil liberties. I love her. And I think that Sandy Reeder and Heidi Cairns Carter and let's see who else, Erica Johnston Lott, and who else is Tammy Hagenbach. Oh my God. Tammy, we have so much to talk about as far as special needs are concerned. I could really use your advice, by the way, so hit me up later and say, I heard such and such. Now, if you don't mind avoiding the fact that I might start a conversation with you about something you might say, could you please take me off the status of share with everybody except her, except me, Shilo, Wahine, Ilahuna, Pili, Hanzawa? I'm finally taking the name of somebody else. My name's Shilo Two-Spirit Hanzawa. Nice to meet you. You have an Asian last name. Yes, I'm actually supposed to be Asian. I was corrected at birth. Oh. Yeah, my parents didn't want to admit that they had stolen a baby from Asia. Oh. Yeah, so before you try and judge anybody, I'm supposed to look Korean, and I'm an Asian. Silly. Down syndromers or Mongolism. Mongolia, hello. Thank you. Down's Beauty stars. I want to see your beauty, beauty, beauty. I'm going to pump some Down's Beauty pretty soon. Because pretty much I hate this whole, if you believe, blah, 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 like and share. If you believe she's a cute, blah, blah. Or nobody gave this one a like and share, blah. Feel sorry for me because I'm beautiful too. No. Beauty, 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 beauty. Megan Trainor's got it right. Your lips are moving. Your lips are... No, not that one. Sorry, Mike. If you see me having some sort of dialogues of Plato over here, don't mind me. I'm just talking to my second spirit. If I can twist my body, I can squeeze my little lung up and it gives it that extra shoot. Cacough. Cacough. It's Pacaloloet. Pacalola. Her name was Pacalola. She smoked a pot pipe. I hope you're roaring in the aisles. I hope you're roaring at the UN. I want to make you roar at Mass. I want to make you rejoice in laughter and know that the gods must be crazy. Yeah. What did you think? Mary Margaret, what are you doing now? Well, Mom, Rakokovich. Yeah, I'm Rakokovich. Hi, nice to meet you. Rakokovich loves Putanovich very much. Sasha, Misha, Vladimir. Really, me, myself, and I. Won't you please come and make a union with me and show the world what it means to be gracious and beautiful? And listen, if you're already married, I get it. It's okay. But there might be somebody who's not married. Mexico, there's some bachelors in Mexico who need a queen for Mexico to deal with this negotiation between Trump and the wall. Right. And if the gracious Prime Minister, the Prime Ministress, no, they don't do it like that. The gracious Prime Minister of the U.S., the Ambassador and Prime Minister of the U.S., how can she be a Prime Minister, blah, 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 blah. Well, church and state aren't separate, silly, and you know that, because it's not anymore. But don't worry about it. Church and estate ought to still be separate. And I think everybody needs to return to the values of mammon and God, which is different than the state. State is not mammon. We are not mammon. We are more like church than church is. And we would, and the government would like to be on the side of the church as far as institutions that make things facilitated for atheists. Us atheists. For those who don't have any reason to think that there's anything beyond what we are as we walk this face of this earth. For all of us Buddhists, we still need the government to stand in for us and speak for us on behalf of the temples and behalf of the holies of holies and the sanctimonies and the this and the that and the highfalutin Pharisees, Sadducees, and, Nazis and Klansmen's. Because we're all going to shake hands around the board and come to some discussion. And there's going to be a discussion of a G10 for the U.S. There's going to be a presidential floor. And as your president, I'm going to change the organization. And I've already submitted all of this to the government. It's all federally approved. Okay? As your president and my platform, I wish to reconstruct the body of the American government in the seat of the presidency to include a council of 10. Like metric, and we're going metric, pony up. Oh, we don't have to because Canada... Don't worry about it. It'll be so easy to learn metric. No one will, it'll be a heartbeat. And then all this weird counting forwards and backwards and new anti-ching chong bing bongs can come to an end, and we can start facilitating my STEM Fine Arts and Literature School, charter schools, Betsy Devos, for all those who wish to come special needs to PhDs. And we're going to have a schoolhouse rock kind of way of teaching, and everybody's going to learn at their levels. Everybody's going to have curricula. And anybody who wants to turn to the page on their internet over the age of 13 at Hebrew school at my plan, It's going to be fine. And then anybody under 13 is primary school and special needs. You know, and primary school need not suffer for the adult reasons why we are all hung up about why we can't get married. Reproductive organs or non-reproductive organs and civil liberties and how we conduct ourselves under God's. So, I have my own ecumenical challenges. But, as your future president and the dark horse, my platform includes reconstructing the position of the presidency to include more people at the table. And I don't mean the cabinet that's not responsible. I mean equal stakeholdership in the presidency. In the official stakeholdership of the 501c3 BBD blah 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 alphabet soup. The 501c3 programs that they have out there, I've been exploring this for our ministry here. And as the Prime Minister, I will be a non-profit ministry with an atheist floor, a floor of atheism in the government. I'm an attorney. I'm a Juris Doctorate. I'm a PhD and an MD and a DDS. I specialize in orthotics and orthopedics and just about every other science you've got going on. Endocrinology, kinesiology, a lot of ologies going on here. And I'll tell you, with my super brain and my double brain that I have, and my double layers, and supposedly I'm supposed to have an extra shell, but, you know, everybody thinks I'm too thin-skinned. You're shocking me. I didn't believe I was too thin-skinned for you. My offense has been taken, but my fences are down. My name ought to be Mary Margaret Thatcher Gorbachev, and I'm going to say Mary Margaret Thatcher Gorbachev, Two-Spirit Hanzawa, because Hanzawa is my new name. And I'm going to take my husband's name as a libtard female, blah, 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 etc., feminist. And I'm going to own him and show his family what I can do. So, Mary Margaret, are you all right with that? Yes, my name's Mary Margaret Hanzawa. Nice to meet you. Well, at least it takes care of the white or the yellow contrast. We've got a blue and yellow over here and a green and yellow over here. Well, blue, yellow, and green are her colors. So that will be the colors of our reception and our wedding, blue, yellow, and green, and maybe some pink and some other stuff. I mean, you know me. If you see my artwork, you can tell I have a style all my own. That's for sure. And I always will. I love you, my islands in a stream, for that is what we are. God is watching us at a distance. And you, Sandy Reader especially, you are the wind beneath my wings. Sandy was one of my friends in the talent show, and I did 4 talents in the talent show because I really wanted to show you guys some cool stuff. I did a belly dance. I sang a song. I think I did a belly dance and sang a song. If you can remember that I did anything else, I just remembered that I had a lot of different acts that I was trying out, and I got to do 2 of them. And I did a very modest belly dance with a leotard and, you know, little jingle jangles that I had made up myself, and it was really good. And it made an impression, and I won a trophy. And all of my childhood trophies are in the garbage in Illinois, and there's a great big treasure trove of garbage in Illinois. There's a great big treasure trove of garbage in Tallahassee with my teddy bear and some corsetry stuff in there that someone just locked a house on me from. Because they hijacked all my stuff and then locked it up and then locked my car up in the tow yard. So I have 2 cars in tow yards waiting to be resuscitated, and they're too distinctive to do anything but resuscitate them. My stepmom mobile with the you can bitch but don't be one from Montana bumper sticker in yellow, that's still in the tow yard, and that's in Illinois at Kenyon Towing, and then from the household of Muhammad Sharabash, who was a big scary Muslim. Sure, Barry, whatever you say. Barry Sharabash. That big Muslim that we had in the White House, that senator. Listen, Michelle, you guys came and hung your head in my window when I was asleep and said all sorts of crazy stuff to me. So don't tell me I wasn't asleep and heard you. Not only that, as a two-spirit, I have extra ears. And we hear things on duty, conscientiously and consciously, that you'll never hear. And we always hear and see everything. Do I have eyes in the back of my head? No, they're all at the front, just like everybody else. But am I completely hyper aware of everything and completely aware of all the sounds and noises and super bombardment? Mm-hmm. Do I need a hearing aid? Yeah. I'm going to make do with some hearing aids that I have discovered and my glasses. These items that I have found are essential to my growth and my development, and the fact that no one wants to get me a cane to walk with because I am SSDI disabled. SSDI. And that's another thing. When people get their disability, if they have people that are trying to confuse them, you will get confused. And they will confuse you on purpose to their secret combinations. And I'm going to tell you what, secret combination, I finally cracked your safe. If I'm not a really good safe cracker at this point, and I haven't, what did I do? I slashed Barack Obama's tires for parking in my parking spot like the hood rat that he is. I stayed in the same apartment that he was in when he was in college. The very same one. And it had not been resuscitated since the deep throat incident, since my parents had their affair in the little war room with no surveillance on it. There's plenty of surveillance. It's all stuckless suction cups to the walls, silly. Surveillance is fine. We'll just go hang out in the parking lot with our window open. She likes her windows open. She doesn't understand screens and bugs. My landlord didn't give me any screens. I had to make do. Hey, and nobody told me that those things were hornets' nests. I thought they were driftwood, and I was attacked by hornets. So if you swallow hornets by mistake, you're going to have a hard time, and then you're going to get granulocytosis if you don't recover your intestinal tract with Chinese medicine first. Yeah, I'm going to help ALS sufferers recover. Because listen, holistic Chinese salts, some of those meat tenderizers that you so dearly love, and I'm not just talking about MSG. MSG is actually technically relatively harmless, but you have to kind of have a MAST class 12 permit to buy it or use it. And you have to have your permit with you to buy it, like a driver license, like an alcohol permit. And you have to know how to use it and be licensed to use it in order to buy it. That is one of the regulations that I want to put on when it comes to stuff coming imported that we are not aware of. Because let me tell you what, children who go into the Amazon to find drugs, there's some stuff coming in through Chinese channels and Asian channels, and they regulate it and then they send it out. And then we have to regulate it over here because our people don't know how to use it. So if you don't know anything but iodized salt, you're not going to be prepared for what Himalayan pink salt does to you. And it's going to make your ions swim in a different polarity because lightning strikes the Red Sea and changes the direction of the electrons, you doofus. Furthermore, black salt and other salts from China that are labeled black salt tightens things really. You have to look at the crystalline structure and then interpret what it's going to do to the body. Now, iodized salt is relatively square and easy to process, and the iodine locks the salt into place so that it doesn't turn into something else in our rivers and make some sort of crazy weirdness and some sort of mutational weirdness. And they did that early on a long time ago because they saw some of the deformations that were happening from people who bathed downstream from the bleach company in India, thinking that they're purified in the Ganges. Truth. Word of truth and science at your fingertips right now with my podcast. So, yeah. And you keep hearing my clicking. You hear nothing. You see nothing. I don't care what you think of me, you fishwife. Meanwhile, I'm filing lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. And I'm really going to have to file a complaint against Mohammed Shirabash I'm going to have to file a complaint with HUD because we are no longer able to settle out of court for the destruction that he permitted to happen on his property due to his own, misplacement of my rent. You misplaced my rent and then blamed me for not paying rent and then evicted me, Mr. Mohammed Shirabash. Listen, Barry and Michelle, your people are not doing a good job. I was almost run over by the lawnmower man. So I'm going to make a complaint this morning, and I'm going to file it after I get off my podcast. I don't want you to see what I say to them, because I really rip into them in my best way. And if you are cringing in your livers or laughing up your sleeve, because Mary Margaret Jr., hi. Mary Margaret Michelle Jr., Mary Margaret Michaela Jr., Rakokovich, thanks. And I don't know, I've been spelling it Rokoshevich, but I'm Rokochovich. Could be huh? Okay, we're going to huh a minute. Sorry, huh. Huh is not something that we huh in English because huh is phlegmy and Englishes are so perfectionist about hygiene that huh doesn't sound like anything except, oh, don't spit on me. Sorry, guys. Huh. Rokochovich. Or Rokokokovich. No, my pigeon is brilliant and I can make haikus in 5 languages. So, all at once. How many permutations and combinations are you getting from this one? Okay, Google those words. If you hear anything that I'm saying and you don't know what it means, don't ask me. You have a dictionary called the Google. And Google, I use Google. It's just, that's why the other search engines are not going down so well. Some people use Bing. Don't hesitate to use Bing. Don't hesitate to use the Tor Onion browser, you sneaky bitches, because we will find you. Because Chain of Fools is no chain. Except it is a direct line of, oh, well, that lights up on the map. Right. And if we could get our screens up into the light up of crime, time, date, logistics, and see where this ripple of crime is happening and where the blood is being cut off, where the feed is being cut off to these drugs in our communities. Well, the feed is being cut off because everybody's still sitting on their tails. And I have to actually file a lawsuit against quote-unquote trustee of Mohammed Shirabash, whoever that may be, Green Street Realty, etc., and Shell Corporation, etc. We will find you, Mr. Funder of ISIS terrorism. And ISIS is going to find you and sue you for civil liberties. Because I'm going to sue you for the fact that I'm a burqa wearer and your Middle Eastern problem with Jews and mezuzahs and Middle Eastern problems with I don't know what to do, sir. Well, I know what to do. I have the government on my side and you're no longer anything but a civilian. And you think you've gotten away with something. And you're just waiting for me to snap a towel at you. I'm going to snap a towel at you in your presidency. You set a fine example and your folks are very classy. You guys are really great. And I just mean down home folks, okay? Remember, I'm a chink. Okay, POCs? I'm a chinky chink. I'm a chinky chink retard. I built the railroads. I make bullet trains. I do aquaculture. I make anime. So there. Cosplay. Well, I'm going to put on my Juris Doctorate robes and I'm going to finalize my passing the bar by suing this particular impersonator. Thank you, Mike. I'm sorry I was stuttering. I didn't realize you had the right word. Mike has a lot of right words. He's got a lot of choice words. We keep that up in our extra storage in our RAM. Ramalama ding dong. And everybody, just remember when it comes to education of special needs or anybody else, it's all milk before meat, which means you will get milk. And I don't have, I don't have milk lemonade, so do mine. And I don't have any whipped cream, so get off my jock for a minute. But back to scriptural reference, milk comes before meat. And as a child, I was a child, and as an adult, I'm an adult. And I put away childish things, and I moved to adult things. But did you know that educating children is not childish? And educating children is not an immature fashion? And if Betsy DeVos thinks she's doing anything but being ill-equipped and immature and trying to educate our students, the newest Prime Minister of the United States, now I don't really want to be president as much as I want to be Prime Minister. You read me, Prime Minister and Ambassador on a permanent level at the G20. I'll have position whether you do or not. Presidencies all, runners all, candidates all. But listen, candidates Bernie Sanders, candidates Hillary Clinton, candidates Elizabeth Warren, candidates Paul Ryan. I've submitted a document that says you are going to be invited to the presidential table because I insist on an evenly represented table of 10. We will represent in the Supreme Court as well. And the Supreme Court justices are going to have 5 levels of different education. We're going to start 2 justices at high school level justices. Everybody will be 33 or over. So if you are 33 or over, these bills are already passing through Congress. These bills flew through Congress like crazy. Do you understand me? I have achieved Speaker of the G20. Do you understand? I have achieved something that you cannot prove yet because the time in the cycle of the calendar has not rotated around to your particular moment of the sun. That is all. But all of this has been pre-approved. All of this has been concerned with the Electoral College. All of you. And this is how I have to do it, and this is how I want to do it. It will be evenly divided between the Democratic and Republican ideas. This will be a reach across the aisle. And we may even say no parties, but it specifically will have even representation, and maybe the first 4 of each group. There'll be 8 who are distinctly Republican, distinctly Democrat, and then there'll be 4 more. Okay, 12. There's ultimately 12. Table of 12. I mean, I was reserving the top 2 and 3rd position for myself and private advisors, but this is not necessary. I don't have to have altar boys in the government. Okay, but you understand where I'm coming from. But here's the thing. We're going to have a table of 12. Not just 10, but 12 ultimately. And ultimately it's going to be 13. But there's a table of 13 at the top. And there's 10 advisors, and they come from across the board and across the aisle, and every party is represented. All the parties are going to come to the table at the presidential table. This is a committee from here on out at the presidency and the seat of the presidency in our tripartite government. Am I taking away checks and balances? Hell to the no. Hell to the no. But the position of presidency has to be an office of committee. So no longer are we going to have a presidential seat of power. We are going to have a committee of 13 people, just like Jesus and his disciples, just like 13 cycles of the moon, all the numbers that we need. 13. We need 13 because why? There's 13 genome tails represented. I have 11 genome tails. Do I? Let's see. 2 Y's equals 6. 1 X equals 4. So I have a 10. I'm actually a complete 10. I am. Farrah Fawcett. Thank you. I'm a 10. Most people are 8s. Kim Jong-un. He's just an X. He doesn't pee or poop. Do you know why? He uses an ostomy bag and a catheter, and he's a special needs type person. And special needs types, dear leaders, needs job coaches. And who better than the Prime Minister of the U.S. to go in and say, darling, something's missing. Well, they don't understand me, but he's misunderstood. He's Wouldn't it be nice if he had a special advisor from ISIS? You know, and I think I need to be the special, you know, surprise Muslim ISIS. See, because I am ISIS. I am the thing they're most afraid of. And I'm going to stand up for ISIS and say, you may stop fighting for me now. I have this under control. Thank you for summoning me to being. And as the cosplay of the LARP, of the live action role play, where I take on the moment of the godhead of Isis, and I will be a priestess of Isis in my prime ministry of Unitarianism, Methodism. And as a priestess of Isis, I'm here to tell you that ISIS has to put down their weapons now because we're done fighting, and ISIS has told them to be quiet. Peace. Be still. Your goddess is here. ISIS is here. I am Isis. I am the woman to spirit who embodies the form of Isis in this moment, and I will be your God on earth and represent you and your desires and your needs to have our daughters stop being violated early, and our sons also stop being pressured to conform to female demands that they not be female too, and the exclusion of our young two-spirits who blend and who are compounded individuals. We're compound individuals. We are complex individuals, but we are as basic as you are on a real civil liberties level. Excuse my Spanish wants to come through. Perdóname. Mi español no es no posible para reflectar que yo puede todas las palabras, pues mi acento no es perfecto, ¿sí? Y más. Uruguay. There are some really good leaders in South America. Why do we ignore them? We should not ignore them. And that is why we do not have a wall. Por favor, ayudarme. Ayudarme a mi Virgen Madre Guadalupe María. Dios mío, María. Santa María, por favor. Hermana y esposa, muy bonita y ascendantita a cielo con Dios, con los Dios Guadalupe, los Dios Santa Padre, los Dios Santa Alma, Santa Corazón. Santa Corazón de Fuego de Jesús, por favor, aprenderme mis pies son sur la piso, mis pies sur la piso, con égalité, liberté, démocratie, con Isis, con la diate, con la godes. ¿Qué es esta palabra en español? No sabe. Continúan en otros